This is episode 1 of Launch Your Cigar Brand in 5 Steps, a 5-part series covering every major decision between having a brand idea and having a brand on the shelf. Over the next 5 weeks, we're going to cover brand identity, logo design, cigar box selection, color systems for print, and finding your packaging manufacturer. By the end of this series, you'll have a complete roadmap. Today we start at the beginning, and the beginning is not your logo. If you're just joining this channel, welcome. My name is Humberto Arias, and through cigar package design, I've helped over 100 premium cigar brands go from concept to shelf. If you've been following since phase 1, you'll recognize some of the frameworks we're building on today. Either way, this episode stands on its own, and what you're about to learn will change how you think about every design decision going forward. Now let's define what brand identity actually is, because it's one of the most misused terms in the industry. Section 1. Identity versus design. Brand identity and brand design are not the same thing, and confusing them is one of the most expensive mistakes a new founder can make. Brand design is what your brand looks like, your logo, your color palette, your packaging layout, your typography. Brand identity is what your brand is, your positioning in the market, your personality, your story, your promise to the smoker. Design is the expression. Identity is the substance being expressed. When founders come to us with a logo idea and no brand identity, the conversation has to go backwards before it can go forwards. Because a logo designed in a vacuum, without a clear understanding of who the brand is for, what it stands for, and what it should make a smoker feel, is just decoration. It might be beautiful decoration, but it won't work as hard as a logo that's been designed from the inside out. The most valuable thing you can bring to your first meeting with a designer isn't a reference image or a color idea. It's a brand brief, a single page that captures your identity across 4 pillars. Let me walk you through each one. Section 2. Pillar 1 is positioning, and it answers 2 questions. Who is your brand for, and what tier does it occupy? In the premium cigar market, there are broadly 4 tiers: ultra premium, premium, accessible premium, and value. Each tier has a different price point, a different retail context, a different buyer profile, and a different set of design expectations. Your packaging should communicate your tier before the price tag is even visible. The buyer profile question is where most founders stay too vague. Cigar lovers is not a target audience. Established professionals aged 40 to 60 who smoke 1 or 2 cigars a week as a personal ritual and associate the experience with earned quiet time. That is a target audience. The more specific you are about who your ideal smoker is, the more precisely your design can speak directly to them. The occasion question is equally important. What moment does your cigar belong to? A celebration cigar, a wedding, a promotion, a milestone, has different design needs than a daily smoke, a gift, or a collector's piece. The occasion shapes everything from the box style to the band finish to the language on the packaging. Position your brand in a specific moment, and your design will always know what to say. Section 3. Pillar 2 is personality. And here's the exercise I use with every founder. If your brand were a person, who would they be? Not a celebrity or a character, a type of person. What do they wear? How do they speak? What do they value? Are they heritage and authoritative, the old family patriarch who doesn't need to prove anything? Are they modern and bold, the founder who broke tradition on purpose? Are they artisanal and quiet, the craftsman who lets the work speak? The personality drives every design decision downstream. A heritage, authoritative personality leads to classical serif typefaces, deep jewel tones, embossed crests, and a restrained use of gold. A modern, bold personality leads to clean sans serif type, high contrast color blocking, minimal decoration, and unexpected material choices. A quiet, artisanal personality leads to natural textures, earthy palettes, hand-drawn elements, and soft finishes. Same product category, completely different visual languages. The brand voice test is another useful tool. How does your brand speak? Write 3 sentences the way your brand would say them. Formal and measured, warm and personal, direct and confident. Once you can hear your brand's voice, you'll know immediately when a design choice is on brand or off, even before you can articulate why. Section 4. Pillar 3 is visual language, the translation of your personality into design decisions. And I want to be specific here, because visual language is often where founders make premature decisions. They choose colors before they've defined the personality, or they select a typeface because they like it, without asking whether it's consistent with who the brand is. Visual language should always follow personality, not lead it. Your color palette should be 3 to 5 colors maximum. A primary color that anchors the brand, the one that will dominate your packaging and become synonymous with your visual identity over time. 1 or 2 secondary colors that support and complement it, and 1 accent color, often a metallic, that elevates specific touchpoints like the band or a foil detail. More than 5 colors creates visual noise and dilutes brand recognition. Your typography should be 1 or 2 typefaces, a primary face for your brand name and headlines, and optionally a secondary face for supporting text. The typographic pairing should feel intentional. 2 typefaces that share a design sensibility without competing. And every typeface you consider should be tested at the scale it will actually be used on the packaging, particularly at cigar band size, which we covered in Episode 2 of Phase 1. Motifs and symbols, the visual elements beyond type and color, complete the language. A crest, a botanical illustration, a geographic detail, an abstract mark. These elements give your packaging visual depth and create the layered quality that makes premium packaging feel worth examining closely. And finish language, matte versus gloss versus foil versus texture, is the final dimension of visual language, and we dedicated an entire section to it in the band design tutorial. Section 5, Pillar 4 is story, and it's the one that holds everything else together. Your brand story is not your marketing copy. It's the underlying narrative that makes your positioning, your personality, and your visual language coherent. It's the answer to 3 questions. Where did this brand come from? What does it stand for? And what does choosing this cigar mean for the person who smokes it? In Week 3 of Phase 1, we talked about naming frameworks. Heritage names that draw from family and place. Aspiration names that capture a feeling. Concept names built around an idea. Your brand story is the full version of what your name gestures toward. The name is the first word of the story. The packaging is the rest of the first chapter. And if you've been following this series, you'll remember Maria from last week. Her 3 pages of handwritten notes about what she wanted people to feel. That was her brand story. She just hadn't given it that name yet. A complete brand story has 3 components. The origin, something true about where this brand came from that gives it roots. The mission, the active commitment the brand makes to its category and its smoker. And the promise, the specific transformation or experience the smoker can count on every time across every product in the line. When your story has all 3, your designer has everything they need to make decisions that go beyond decoration and into meaning. Section 6. The brand brief. The practical deliverable of everything we've covered today is a brand brief. 1 page that captures all 4 pillars before you brief a designer. Most founders come to their first designer meeting with a logo idea and a vague sense of the vibe they're going for. The best founders come with a completed brand brief. And the difference between those 2 conversations is the difference between designing something that looks good and designing something that works. A complete brand brief has 6 fields: brand name and the story behind the choice. Positioning tier, ultra premium, premium, accessible premium, or value. Target smoker profile, specific, not vague. Brand personality, 3 adjectives that describe the brand as a person. Visual references, 3 to 5 examples of brands or designs in any category that have the feeling you're after. And your story in 3 sentences: origin, mission, promise. That brief is your North Star for every design decision that follows. When a proof comes back from a designer and something feels off, the brief is how you articulate why and what to change. When a print vendor asks for your brand standards, the brief is where that document starts. It's the most valuable hour you'll spend before a dollar goes to design. That's episode 1 of Launch Your Cigar Brand in 5 Steps. You now have the 4-pillar framework: positioning, personality, visual language, and story, and the brand brief structure that captures all 4 on one page. Before you do anything else with your brand, fill out that brief. Everything that follows, from your logo to your box to your band, will be better for it. In episode 2 next week, we take everything you've defined today and translate it into your cigar logo, the flag that flies for your brand on every piece of packaging you'll ever produce. We'll cover the 3 logo structures used in premium cigar branding, typography rules for logos that work at band scale, and what to give a designer to make sure you get a logo that does its job. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you're ready to start building your brand identity now, the link to work with cigar package design is in the description. We'd love to be part of your story. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.